Yeah, and this is just me kind of being like a nerd about it, but I wonder if it really helps to contribute to like characterization in a sense, you know? If you're looking at a character who is looking at this food and like working with it and kind of worshipping it with their hands, as we do in the kitchen when we handle all our ingredients. It kind of gives you like a different impression of the character as well, and like what they appreciate and what they value. And, you know, as opposed to maybe like a scene of someone like a shut-in who's just like having, you know, another Domino's pizza or whatever.
Yeah, instant ramen or something like that. Yeah. That does make sense, because when you really see those scenes where you have the kind of, I think the term is neats, right? Like the shut-ins or something, and they just see like stacks of food everywhere.
What is it?
That
hikikomori?
Right.
Like
is it I don't know the term, but I know. Is it
Kikimori?
Kikimori? I don't know.
Something,
I'm
something like that. Something like that. Someone in the comments, please let us know.
Right, let us know. But I think it's hikikimori. Oh my god, hikikimori. I'm not even gonna try. Anyways, but when you see those scenes, and they do happen often, and one of them is one of my favorite like degenerate shows is No Game No Life. Right. I love that show, but there are scenes where like the Shido and oh my god, I can't remember the brother's name. Anyways, the siblings.
The brother,
yeah, they're in their room and they just have like boxes of food everywhere, because to them it's not important. It's just fuel. Yeah. But then you have, like you said, like we'll talk about like the Food Wars comparison, where the characters are their food.
Yeah.
Right? Like you had just said. And I thought that was super interesting, because each character in Food Wars is also represented by the food that they make.
It's so true. Like if you think about it, like Meat Girl, what's her name?
Oh, Nikumi. Or technically Ikumi.
Yeah,
but everybody calls her
Nikumi.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, this is something you'll learn about me. I'm really bad at names, but I can describe every character to you perfectly. But yeah, Nikumi. I mean, her depiction, her characterization, she like always wears like an American flag bra, right? Or something like that. Like bikini top kind of situation. And in a lot of ways, like she is the embodiment, like visually, of meat and like meat culture, you know, and like strong, manly meat. Which I can get behind.
It is kind of accurate to her character, though. But like when I think about that character and just kind of the way they portrayed her in the first season, for anyone who's watched it, they portrayed her as a character who was very brash and very like forceful with everything, right? Because she's also a butcher. So it's like she can handle like, you know, taking a whole cow and breaking it down, whatever it was. So it was kind of that character for her. And then when she would make dishes, the dishes were also like meat heavy, right? They made it to where it really represented the character. And this is, I could go into Food Wars all day because I've watched it so much now. But when you talk about like Yukihira, right? A lot of his dishes, like his personality, are very playful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where they're more of like experimenting, trying new things, whatever it might be. And then you have Erina on the other side, where at the beginning anyways, she wasn't very playful, and she was just, nope, this is how it has to be. This is to the T. It's Michelin or bust. Yeah.
Her style does change a lot as the seasons go on, and as she and Yuki become more and more like infatuated with one another, right?
Yep. I kind of wish they didn't ruin season 5. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh, that's a well, is it a controversial opinion?
No, season 5 is hot garbage.
Yeah, it is.
It's like on fire the whole time.
It is. I would say seasons 1 through 3 are okay, and then from 4
even
on,
season 4 was a tournament arc. That was fun.
It was okay.
But season 5, they're like cooking filet mignon in metal juggling balls. I'm like, I think the food took a backseat to all. Anyways, but yes, I don't. Season 5 we'll just not talk about.
I agree with you, and I wonder if it follows with. I think they were following the manga pretty closely, but I wonder if
that's how the manga was written.
Yeah, choices. Which is,
they should have just said, "Sorry, bro, we're not doing this. We're just gonna animate something different," and it probably would have been better. Is the consensus? But even in a show like that, where it's very food forward, food lost its meaning in season 5, so it was kind of sad to see that. It was just kind of a plot point at that point.
Yeah. There's some weird dishes in that season for sure.
She used dynamite to cook puff pastry. You can't do that.
You can't do it. Oh, okay. Well, speaking of unsexy food, so moving away from like, I think Soma and Erina and everyone are very good visual depictions of their characters or of their like food and their cooking style a little bit. But then getting into some like unsexy versions of food, I think of Yakitate Japan. Have you seen that show?
I haven't yet, no, and everybody wants me to watch it.
Okay, there are some very good-looking foods in it, and it's all focused on like pastry and baking and bread and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But there is one recipe that I could never, like they tried so hard to make this a sexy thing, and I couldn't understand it. And it's like the 700 layer croissant. There's one episode where he makes a croissant that's got like a bajillion, like 1,000 layer croissant, something ridiculous like that. And if you guys, for anyone who hasn't seen the show or doesn't know how croissants are made, you make this layered or laminated dough and you fold it over, and in folding you create like more and more and more layers of pastry, right? And so he just keeps folding. He's like, he's like, why would we stop at 3 or 4 turns? Like, let's just keep going and do more. And in real life, the reason you can't do that is because the lamination breaks and the butter in between the pastry kind of seeps out and starts like melting. It's just difficult to do. But this guy, he's like, I'm going to do it. We're going to make this happen. So he makes this like 1,000 layer croissant or whatever, and he bakes it. But because there are so many layers, it like has to, I don't know, takes longer to cook. He's got to like burn it basically. So he puts it in the oven. He leaves it in there. The outside becomes all like burned and horrific. And then he takes it out in the big reveal. He like cracks it open. He like cracks the top open to reveal this like luscious and perfect croissant underneath. But I watched that episode and I was like, what is this man thinking? Like, so, everyone knows that when you burn something,
I haven't seen
you can't get the taste off.
You can't get the taste off, right? So like I watched, actually, I think Binging with Babish / Anime with Alvin made that in the past couple of months, where they remade like the 1,000 layer croissant or something like that. Yeah. And they overcooked it, you know, tried to burn it, and I think they had to like remake it. So they showed, they're like, no, we're gonna make a different one, because you're right. Like when you burn bread,
you can't bounce back.
The flavor is there. Right. Yeah. You would essentially,
the carcinogens are in.
They're in, bread. Right? Like if you burn, like, let's say like a shokupan, right? Like a rectangular loaf of bread. If you burnt the outside, right? Yeah. You could kind of like, you could literally cut away all of it and save the inside and use that for breadcrumbs or whatever. Yeah. But I'm like, if you burn anything like that, it just goes to waste. You literally can't use it.
You can't use it. And with a croissant, which is all like layery and wrinkly and full of holes and divots, he literally takes a spoon, if I remember right, and he cracks it, the shell off, and it just like chips off and flakes off. And I'm like, okay, well, all those flakes are now just like getting in the crevasses of this croissant. And I was like, this does not seem good.
No, right. And as someone who's like, I worked in a bakery for about 1.5 years, and we did sourdough from scratch, like German style, like hearty sourdough. We did croissants, we did puff pastries, we did all that stuff. Yeah. If you burnt a croissant, you pretty much just threw it away. Like there was no salvaging it, right? Yeah. And that has a lot to do with, like you said, where if the dough burns on the outside, you can't just like pick it off, especially puff pastry, because if you go to like peel it, the whole damn thing just gets removed, right? Yeah. Like that's it's just the whole thing of bread comes with it. And so when I see stuff like that in anime, it's more of the wow factor, right? Yeah. Of you made 1,000 layer croissant.
I can't believe you did that. Yeah.
Right. And it becomes more of like a plot point versus the appreciation of the food in a way. Yeah. And like, yes, maybe the characters love it or whatever, but when I think of food scenes, I think of, God, this is a comparison that I didn't want to bring up, but it was like it's Your Lie in April, right? Because like so that anime just like crushes you, right?
Wait a second, you so much as utter those words in my presence.
I know, right? But there's this scene where Saori and the guy, right?
I think her name is Cow. Is it Cowdy?
Is it Cowdy? The girl. Okay, so whatever. I'm so bad at names, right?
Tell us in the comments below.
So the blonde girl and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guy
yeah.
with
The
the glasses and the dark hair. Those two,
The
right,
violinist and the
yes,
pianist.
exactly,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But they're at a restaurant, like a lunch place or something, and they ordered like, I think it was waffles, and it was just like this beautiful plate of waffles, and it wasn't even like they looked good, they were drawn really well, it was animated well, but it was more of the exchange of the characters like over that plate of food,
Yeah,
right? That
yeah.
made it important. And that's
Yeah.
like, that's where you see like, okay, the food is important as a storytelling element instead of just being this like huge
fan
main
service.
character. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Like a show stopping kind of thing. Yeah.
Right, because even in Food Wars, like the food is its own character. In Yakutake Japan, it sounds like the food is its own character.
Very much.
Right,
Yeah.
but like